If you have not been playing Hypixel Skywars since the beginning, then you may not know of these incredibly overpowered items that were once in the game that have since been removed, which is why in today's video I will be going over 10 overpowered Skywars items that you did not know were removed. But first, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to see all of the videos on my channel as quickly as you can. Big shout out to Fisher Woods for being the first comment on my last video. You are part of the notification squad and I highly appreciate you. Now let's jump into my list. Sharpness 2 Iron Sword. Originally a part of the Knight class for solo and teams, this sword was incredibly overpowered. With it being a Sharpness 2, the attack damage on the sword was instantly 8.5, which was better than a Sharpness 1 Diamond Sword. So this class alone gave you a better sword than you could get throughout the entirety of a Skywars match unless you anviled. Now, of course, with this being so overpowered, many players use and abuse this class while they could, rushing islands instantly and getting so many kills. But of course, it was too overpowered and was eventually replaced with the much weaker Sharpness 2 Gold Sword, which is barely better than a regular Iron Sword. Knockback 2 Wooden Sword. This item falls under the same category as the Iron Sharp 2 Sword because it was originally a part of the baseball player class. Now, with having such a higher knockback item just as a class, it got massively abused, especially on the smaller maps such as Shire. If you were to get hit one time by this sword on that map, you would have no chance to defend yourself against anyone using this item. So eventually Hypixel did nerf this class to include a knockback 1 wooden sword along with an iron helmet to help balance the class out. But we will always remember the amazing knockback abuse you could do with this old school class. Ender Pearls. This item may confuse you because I'm mainly speaking about the amount of Ender Pearls you could get in the beginning of Hypixel Skywars in solo and teams. If you were to rush the middle chest ASAP, you would find stacks of 8, stacks of 10, even full stacks of 16 Ender Pearls in just one chest. That is incredibly overpowered for a rush-heavy player, getting a ton of amazing gear and weaponry, having all of those pearls to their advantage. There's not much to say about this one. It was just very overpowered and got very quickly fixed in the beginning of the game. Overpowered Ender Chest. Now this class is still around to this day and you can use it if you would like to, but it is nowhere near as good as it once was. Back when this class was first released, if you used it, you were almost guaranteed full diamond armor from just that chest alone, not including any of the regular island chests that were there, which gave you a huge advantage if you were rushing to either of the side islands next to you. This of course made it the go-to class for so many Skywars players because of how amazingly overpowered it actually was. Of course, after so long, Hypixel did nerf the contents of the items in this chest, and it made it almost unusable because it was not as viable of an option as the other classes in solo and teams, which is very unfortunate, and I do not see them ever buffing this class to make it anywhere near as good as it used to be. Prot 4 Diamond Helmet. This one is a bit more recent because there is a massive Mega Skywars update which removed a few items. One of these being the Prot 4 Diamond Helmet in Mega Skywars. Now, I did not personally find this to be overpowered, as I'm sure not many people did, but with all of the changes and things they were implementing to Mega Skywars, if it were to stay in the game, it would have become overpowered. Now, if you don't often play Mega Skywars, do not worry. They kept a diamond helmet in the game, but the best you can find without anviling is a Prot 2 Respiration 3 Aqua Affinity 1 diamond helmet, which is not too bad. It is very nice, but those who have played Mega for a very long time really do miss the Prot 4 Diamond Helmet. Prot 4 Diamond Chestplate. Keeping it going with that massive Mega Skywars update, the Prot 4 Diamond Chestplate was also removed via this update. Again, I did not find this to be incredibly overpowered at the time, but with the changes, I'm sure it would have been very overpowered if it stayed in. Now, of course, they still have a diamond chestplate in the game. It is just Prod 2 Unbreaking 3, which is nowhere near as good as Prod 4, just like the diamond helmet is nowhere near as good as the Prod 4 counterpart of it, which makes it very, very sad for those who have played Mega Skywars for so long, but we can see the reasoning as to why these items did get removed. MLG Lagback. Now this one isn't necessarily an item, but you had to use a water bucket to really make it work. So at a certain point in Skywars, there is this glitch going around where if you spun as you were falling into the void, it would lag you back on top of the map where you last fell off. Now, of course, if you combined spinning with landing an MLG water bucket, you would be able to lag back up and take no fall damage and survive. This was a huge issue in Mega Skywars. So many players who were rightfully supposed to die lagged back, used this technique, and just ended up killing you or even winning the game even though they were supposed to be dead way earlier. Some people did enjoy this little glitch, but the majority of the community was not a fan of this because it was just overpowered and it should not have been in the game. Of course, eventually Hypixel did fix this glitch, thank goodness, and I hope it is never going to make a return because it is too overpowered to ever be in the game again. The Snowman class. Many people consider the Snowman class in Skywars to be one of the worst classes in the game. That was not always the case. Back when Skywars was brand new, the Snowman would rapid fire snowballs at any enemy that was in its range of sight. It was incredibly overpowered. It was one of the most used classes in the game. In fact, I used it so much we had a name for my Snowman and we called him Jasper. This class was the equivalent of having an extra player with you in solo, having an unlimited amount of snowballs, firing them constantly with no slowdown, which caused a lot of players to get very mad because dying to this is the equivalent of dying to Knockback, and no one is ever happy with that. So eventually, Hypixel, of course, nerfed the Snowman class to make it fire very slow, making it downright worthless and never useful. So Jasper did unfortunately get replaced by his cousin Fred, and we never use Fred. Knockback 10 Slime Ball. This item was the definition of knockback abuse. Originally, back in Skywars, you could find this item in any chest at the middle of any Skywars map, and if you got this item, you were basically guaranteed a win. Many players loved this item so much because it brought a sense of joy, excitement, and fun to the game mode. Others saw it as a very cheap item that only noob players would use because they couldn't actually win on their own. Think what you will of the item, but it was hilarious whenever you got a kill with it, and even sometimes when you died, seeing yourself just fly across the map was always hilarious in my eyes. Now recently, they did actually add this item back into Skywars via the Slime Lab mode. Now it is nowhere near the same in that mode as it used to be in Skywars, but at least we finally have the item back in Skywars to toy around with and have some fun like we used to back in the old days. Splash Potion of Strength. Now this item was the definition of overpowered. If you used it in solo, you would get it for 5 seconds. If you used it in teams, you would get it for 3 seconds. And it was just an instant fight win if you used it in the right way. Occasionally, players would throw it on their enemies and die because of that, but most of the time, you would be under-geared, use your strength, and then absolutely destroy a really stacked player, which of course made this a class of controversy among the community. Some loved it, some hated it, some had no opinion on the class whatsoever. But of course, Hypixel did see this as overpowered as it was, and they nerfed it by turning it into a regular potion of strength that you had to drink. Ever since this update, we have seen a drastic decrease in the amount of players using this class because it's nowhere near as good as it once was, but there is still hope for those who really enjoyed the splash variety of this potion. If you use the drinkable potion class on the map Tribal, and you also get gunpowder from a creeper somewhere on the map, you can use the brewing stand on the map to transform that drinkable potion back into a splash potion of strength and relive the glory days of that class being so overpowered. And there you have it. That is my list of 10 overpowered Skywars items you did not know were removed. Did you agree with my list? Definitely let me know in the comment section down below. What would you have changed if you would have changed anything? And do you miss any of these items that were once in Skywars? Comment down your thoughts. Let us know. And without further ado, hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and of course, share this video around to any of your friends who you think may enjoy. And other than that, I will talk to you all later. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out.
Life's good, but it could be better. I'ma stay in chill mode in the stormy weather. You can get through anything, yeah, I promise that. You just gotta stay forward, no looking back. Life's good, but it could be better. I'ma stay in chill mode in the stormy weather.